I like how
Hello.
that's become our theme song by default.
Yeah,
Uh,
it used to be we'd have Mikey Mason, Han Solo Cool, all that stuff.
yeah,
Sorry, and now we're just metalheads, I guess. That's not even
I
the
don't
same.
know. I don't
Death
know.
metal. What is
It's
that?
it's something to get me a little bit pumped up before before we start in. That way, I'm just not humdrum.
I don't know if you can see it, Cookie, but your whole face is hidden behind my my thing right there.
No, I
The
can
my
see all
name,
of them.
my name.
I can see all of them on mine.
Oh, can you? Oh, on mine, his face
Yeah.
was hidden, so maybe I know he's got to live in my shadow all the time.
Oh
I didn't
my
want to
God.
be literal on the. I'm just
No, I just
kidding.
more when he was all the way back there. He was just like a very, very creepy Furby, which is really weird
Creepy
because they
Furby,
were creepy
thanks.
to begin with.
Well, hey, just like a Furby, he's not they don't allow him in a lot of government facilities either. So
No,
yeah,
no, he
that's very
cannot
true.
get into the Pentagon.
Some of them want to take me there and keep me there. Fuck them.
So welcome to episode blah blah blah. Remember in the
Yeah,
old
it is
days when
that
we used to
time.
say like episode 533, and no, not anymore. We
Yeah,
we are
no,
like tonight. Ash is literally phoning it in. Look at him over there.
I am. If you look behind me, I am in a hotel room in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I am down here helping out some of my. I think it's Fort Smith. Frick,
I was gonna say, you know, you travel a lot when you're like, what state am I in? I've
It
done
is.
that
I
too
mean,
with
I was
festivals. You're like,
at one point. I was in this. I was in this one part where I was going from one tower to another. Because I'm helping out. And I was going through this area I had never seen before. It's this big national forest down here up in the northeast area of Oklahoma or east central area. Anyway, I was going through this forest I'd never even heard of. It's this natural forest. It's beautiful. All right. And I pulled off onto this one. And if you want to Google it, anybody watching, if you want to Google it, I pulled off into Emerald Vista. Look up Emerald Vista, Oklahoma. And it's all part of this national park system. I pulled into this vista to take a look out over the expanse and take a couple pictures with my phone because it was just so, and I was sitting there going, wow, parts of Oklahoma can be beautiful. That's pretty cool. But I was reading the thing, and apparently back in 1930, this logging company owned all this land. All right. And they had logged it down. It was burned. It was desolate. The economic statement had come back that this land was of no use whatsoever, no commercial use for this land. So the lumber company was like, we cut down all the trees, nothing to lumber, so we're selling it off. And they had an auction. There was only one bidder, and it was the U.S. Forestry Service, and they bought it at $1.42 an acre, and
Yeah.
it's over 48,000 acres.
I've been
And they
to,
just let it go back. They let it go back to forest, and now it is beautiful. I mean, there's all kinds of trails through there, hiking, camping, all types of car camping, backpacking, camping areas and stuff. I mean, it is a really beautiful area. So if anybody is looking for a place to go camp that's actually got trees, there.
I've been to a couple tax auctions like that where you can buy. Well, hell, our here in Newton, our train station, and this is like was the railroad capital of the world. Our train station sold for $1 on tax auction. Yeah. Now, granted, they had to pay the back taxes, which was still like 20 grand, but 20 grand on a building like that,
It's a kick-ass
that's an
building.
incredible
Well, hold
deal.
on.
So,
Is that the one that they still use now?
yeah.
The
people
Amtrak station?
Yeah, the people that bought it also ended up buying when my parents had the convenience store and the laundromat and dry cleaners all there on First and Main. They bought that
Yeah.
too. So I worked for them for a while, and they were like, oh yeah, how we started out is we ended up getting this building, and basically they started off on a tax auction, and that's what got them all their collateral to start buying businesses. And yeah, it's not a bad way to do
Well,
it.
see, that's the
Matter of
thing.
fact,
You
I did a
can't do
tax
that
auction just the
anymore.
other day, huh?
Well, no, the thing is you can't do that anymore because the secret's out about that. Now those
Well,
auctions,
some still. I mean, I just, well, God, what's been about 3 years ago now, I bought a house at tax auction for $500, but you got to follow, you got to be at the right place at the right time. Yeah,
you got
three-bedroom
one
house.
for $500?
It's not even the cheapest house I've bought.
Now,
So
hold on. When was this?
this was about 3 years ago. right after the
I
pandemic.
was gonna say because I think I remember asking you about 3 years ago. The next time you find out something like that, let me know so I can jump in too. And you
Yeah.
still haven't let me know.
Well, that's because I buy them. Like, I'm not gonna get a fucking real cheap house. And
For those only listening to the podcast, Daryl is giving John a 2-finger salute.
no, I actually did the Wichita, Kansas one the other day, and unfortunately though, like you said, there were so many investors in on that.
Yeah.
Anything that wasn't an open plot of land went pretty significant, but still cheaper than what you would normally do. A lot of those deals I get are right place at the right time. But yeah, I could sit here and tell you a lot of the properties I bought for stupid, crazy, stupid prices. That's why I can afford to let some of them sit while I remodel them. But anyhow, here nor there, let's talk geek stuff, con stuff. I mean, you and I got to do a con last weekend together.
I think it was a good. I think that it was a good little con this past weekend, in which I'm irritated that I told you, hey, I got everything. If we wanted to do a concast, a live little report from the con, we should do it, and we never did.
You know what screwed me up? This was Air Capital Comic Con we're talking about. Normally it's a 2-day convention, Saturday and Sunday. This year they had a preview night on Friday for 4 hours, so I went in there. I was unaware because normally I'm a lot more involved with this con than I was this year. Mainly just because I got my own things going on and they move locations. And the Don that runs it, he brought Drew, his old partner and brother, back in to help him run it. So, I mean, they got everything. They don't need me, which is great. But I came in on Saturday and I was talking to our buddy Randall, and Randall's like, oh, hey, did you bring me my Casey Jones mask? I said, oh, I'll bring it tomorrow. He goes, there's no con tomorrow. So it was a 1.5 day con. And I walked around for about 5 minutes thinking everybody was like trying to pull a big trick on me. And by the time I realized I only had today to take care of things, I should have came over and done the podcast because by the evening I had more time. But then other people start showing up that some people showed up that I didn't want to see. Some people showed up I wanted to see.
Well, and that's the thing. We got to visit with people, and we got to just hang and visit with people. And you over with the Ghostbusters group, me over with the Star Trek group, and we got to, for the most part, talk about things that we were interested in. And I had lots of individuals come up and talk modeling and 3D printing with me. I like the fact that my little card kits were a big hit out there.
I noticed one thing as I went back and forth between the two groups, because of course I hang with the Ghostbuster guys, and we're all over there handing out candy, and we got pictures and different things we're doing. It's a little bit more of a I don't want to say like a party atmosphere, but like an entertainment atmosphere. And then I'd come over there and watch you guys, everybody's talking shop, like they're talking Star Trek, they're talking models, and I was almost a little jealous. I was like, ooh, I want to talk more of that. Not that the Ghostbuster guys weren't doing that, but when the patrons come up, the patrons weren't doing that. The patrons just wanted to, oh, Ghostbusters is cool. Let me try on the proton pack, that kind of stuff. And I'd go over to yours, and like patrons are talking to you about like, remember an episode, blah, 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 to pull the old Captain Kirk. What was the combination of the fucking
that Saturday Night Live episode.
Yeah. So I was a little jealous.
But no, I have to say that, like I said, those card kits, they were well received. And matter of fact, there even some of the other fandom groups were coming over and asking about that. I think you're going to see the other fan groups have those more as well. They're going to see more card kits going around.
I'd mentioned it to our group a couple times, or a couple people in our group, that I thought it was neat. Like they had an Ecto one. It doesn't quite line up as well. Like we could probably do a couple traps, but as what you guys have. But what they did start doing at ours is, well, hang on, I'll grab one so you can look at Cookie's beautiful face.
You know what I find somewhat unnerving, Daryl, is I'm sitting here and between the two of you, there's no 3D prints going on.
I just stopped
before we
started.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was working on, let me see here.
While you're looking, see, Daryl, these are the things that they're printing now for the Ghostbuster group, like a bookmark. And I know you guys had bookmarks as well. And some little keychains and stuff, even though this is not even actual Ghostbusters. But yeah.
This is the latest card kit I'm working on, which is going to be the the
We
Romulan
got a keychain. I got a Romulan bird of prey. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do gotta say the Star Trek group's got
Okay,
some pretty
but
good people.
so I may be on the road and not printing, but I'm working on things. And
There
when I
you go.
get back, I'll start printing.
Well, even for me, I
Sampling stuff
I
here.
fixed one of my printers today, and then the other printer.
Now let me see that what you were showing because I had the other screen open.
Just so for those that can't see, it's just a bookmark on the podcast there. This is printed like yours with the
That was a
multicolor.
very cool bookmark.
And then little keychains. This is actually of the cartoon that's not actual Ghostbusters, but works. I'm not going to get into Ghostbuster lore. Anyhow, but yeah, they got some goodies they're handing out over there, but nothing quite as cool as the little model kits.
Mhm.
But I'm sure.
Well, and I think
hopefully
one of the things
the group's gonna be doing that.
is I think that your 3D printer person, I think she
Mhm.
was testing the waters. I tested the waters a couple, on
At least 6 months ago.
AFW.
Macau-Con?
Anime Fest was the first time I put those out, and I realized that they were going to be a big hit.
Didn't you have
And
them at
so I
Macau-Con?
came prepared. No, I wasn't at McConnell, but Christy and Alan took some with them.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Okay.
Yeah. No, but because this time I brought just like boxes full of that, and I think we literally handed out close to 300 different card kits and bookmarks and stuff like that.
Holy
And
crap!
so,
You guys
in
probably
your
spent a
3D
whole
printer
$8
person,
on
she
that.
was just actually a lot more than that.
Oh, really?
If you figured that I am able to get right now with the size and everything like that, I'm able to get about 100 card kits out of 1 kilo. Close
Oh,
to
so
100 card kits out for 1 kilo.
you spent like
So I
35,
probably put about
$40.
$45 in there.
Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a little
But
tight.
it is, and I tell you right now, those bookmarks she had, those really nice bookmarks with the multicolor.
Mhm.
It's going to take a long time to make those.
Well, she
And
wasn't
that's
handing
gonna
them
be
out
her
like you
crime.
guys. You guys were handing them out pretty regular. She kept these in a bag behind, and then certain people would.
They were quite liberal with the handouts. I mean,
Yeah, I
telling
noticed
people,
that.
"Oh, go ahead, take all of them, take multiples of them," and I'm like, "Shut up, shut up! You're very free at giving away stuff I made."
Yeah, I know how some of that works. Although on my hand, it was real nice to go do a con where I wasn't the guy bringing in all the props and all the stuff and all, because people would come in. I just put up a video of my office here last week, and people would come in and go, "How much of this stuff's yours?" And it's like, none of it. All this belongs to the rest of the group. It literally was what I've been begging for forever. I just could walk in, just be there, and then I could leave when I'm ready.
Good.
And that was nice. So
Yeah, this time I looked at I looked at a picture of the table afterwards, and about 3/4 of the stuff on the table was mine.
yeah,
Especially
I
the big models that I brought in.
well, and the more we're doing it, like the more cons we've been talking to lately, the more of them are like, normally we set up in 2 booth spaces, and they're starting to be like, "Yo, do you want more booth space?" And we've got cars now. We got 2 Ectos here in Wichita, and then our group in St. Louis just bought an Ecto this week, so we've got cars to put in, and we're thinking about doing more of that. But we're also doing fundraisers for charities and stuff. I don't know if you guys are doing that, but so we're trying to.
Oh yeah,
expand
that's more Christine and Alan, because they're really big into the charities and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I believe the Star Trek people are going to be doing I think it's called Angel Tree,
Okay.
kind of thing on like the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. They're going to be out at Town West.
Oh.
The desolation of malls. It's not the desolation of smog; it's the desolation of mall.
Anybody not
But
necessarily.
apparently
Google it. Google
the
Town West.
Angel Tree. Yeah, Google Town West Wichita, please.
YouTube has so many videos of people
apparently
just walking through the crickets. So sorry, we got a little
Even the
delay. I
crickets left.
apologize.
No, it's okay. It's the fact I'm in this hotel room and using my phone's Wi-Fi to do this. No, what was it? They had originally tried to sign up for the Town East Mall doing it. It's a volunteer thing. All different groups volunteer for time doing this angel tree thing. And by the time they got on the site, like an hour or two later after it opened, by the time they got on the site, it was all the stuff at Town East was taken, and all they could get was the tree at Town West.
Wow.
And not the funnest of malls.
I've done a number of charity events with them over the years, and I think the last one I did with them was at Chick-fil-A, and I brought the full-size TARDIS I had in and set up the TARDIS inside of Chick-fil-A. And but then I got my chicken and I left, and then they did all the work. But some of those charity events, I love doing the charity events. We talked about that a lot this weekend because a number of people there had never worked charity events before. And we do a number of them all the time. We don't always wear them on our sleeves, but even at our conventions, we'll do charity auctions and things. And it's starting to be where everybody's got a little bit of a charity that they apply to. Like this week in Air Cap, I don't know if you saw the comic book original art auction up front. Maybe not.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah, like people like Bam and different things would Randall and everybody would make these comic covers, put them up there. Man, Kevin Nolan did some original art. I didn't bid on it because by the time I got to it was $175. But there were some good local artists there that were, I mean, you could get original pieces for $30 because they donated all, and it's really cool. I wish we could do more of that, so that, because I would spend a lot more money doing that than I would be just handing cash over to a charity. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do. That it seems to be more, not only does it, support the charity, it also supports the local artists. So it's a twofer. Yeah. That's really cool stuff. But anyways, yeah, we had lots of fun this weekend at that. And I think everybody had a good time.
Yeah. So we can talk about geek stuff now that we talked about Air Cap.
Yeah, let me see here. I wrote some things down. When it comes to Tech Geek,
real quick, sorry, I want to throw out. Sorry, I know we got the delay. I want to throw out about Air Cap. If anybody ends up watching this, let them know in a nice way. Like send them a private message if you need to, or you can put it publicly. I just don't want people like complaining publicly if there is an issue. They changed venues again this year. They went from Century 2 last year to a new location that people didn't like, and they listened to the people, so they moved it to the new location. Yeah, Daryl.
I believe last year it was not at Century 2. Last year
not.
it was at that jump trampoline center up northeast.
It was a WSU's sports arena up east. So it used for years it was at Century 2, and then last year they moved it to the and the new location there up east was not good. A lot of noise, and they didn't know, but once they found out, they made the arrangements. And really the only complaint I have with the location this year is just that there were 3 sports facilities right there. So finding the exact one, but now that people know, I kind of dig the new location. But I was talking to the director of the convention, and he did say, let them know, give them feedback. They want to know how to expand and do things a little different, because it's not the kind of con where they bring in a bunch of like celebrity guests. It is, they try to keep it as a comic book convention. So as many comic book creators and artists as they can get, and they would rather see artists come in as guests than celebrity guests, and not in a bad snobby way, we're just trying to support that art community. So I want to put that out there. If anybody does see that, let them know, give them feedback in a nice way so that they know what people want to see.
Remember how you gave me the bottles of wine for Don, and you said that I needed to give it to him because you just give it to him for free?
Yeah,
I gave him to it for free.
as long as you're okay with it. I get that way sometimes because I want to give wine out to everybody when they say they want to buy it, and it's like, oh, you're a good friend, let's give you some. You're a good friend. But if we do that, then we're totally screwed. And even as I went in,
he's such a great guy, and he gave free space to you guys, and he gave free space to us. And how could I not give that to him?
I was even going to buy a pass just to support the con, and his wife's like, no, you go in And then Frankie came the next day. So I went up to buy Frankie a pass. And they're like, no, you don't have to pay. And I'm like, but I want to buy my friend Frankie a pass. And they're like, Frankie's with you. You promote us all the time. Just go in. I'm like, I want to support the con. You support the con. Go in. I'm like, so they just wouldn't let you pay. So then that's when I was like, man, I'll just give them the wine. That's how I am. I want to, but yeah, it's tough sometimes. So
And there were a couple people there that recognized me from the Concast.
oh really? Wow, that's cool.
That was their point of reference for me. It wasn't Ren Fair, it wasn't anything else. It was from Concast. So that was kind of cool.
Well, that's a lot better than a mugshot, bro. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot better than something like you with Chris Handsome. But anyway,
Hey,
I was gonna say, don't I know you from prison? But Chris Hansen
Yeah.
makes it twice as bad.
In my defense, I was there for
yeah,
Chris,
it does,
bro.
it does.
Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting off track now.
What was that? What was that cartoon? And the one guy was like, "No, I'm here for you, Chris. I call you Chris Handsome, not Chris
I
Handsome."
don't think
Oh
that's,
my God, no,
that sounds like a Meat Canyon kind of thing, but I don't know on cartoon.
Oh, it was. It was like, and go ahead and get those police and those video cameras in here. I don't care. We can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
See, I dig that stuff.
I'll have to
You-
find what that was.
You ever watch Meat Canyon on YouTube? It's like he does nothing but parody stuff like that. Where he used to, he's got a podcast as well, and he kind of slowed down some of his animation because he did one about Taylor Swift last year, and I mean he's a big YouTuber.
Oh, don't
but-
mess with the Swifties.
Yeah, you don't mess with
Don't
the
mess
Swifties.
with the Swifties.
And he was even like, man, that's a lot. I'm going to back off a little bit and just work on the podcast. But he's out of KC. I've met him before. He's a real cool guy. But if you haven't looked up Meat Canyon, check him out. But right.
I'll have to. I'll have to.
I'd say we could
So,
talk
let
to
me see.
guys.
I was going to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess one of my geekgasms this week has been what I was going to talk about, which was SpaceX. They had their test flight 6, and so they launched again. This time they weren't able to catch the booster like they did last time.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, they it was coming back, but they have a very strict checklist of everything has to be perfect before they'll even let it get close. And they're like, nope, something was subnominal, so they had it splash down out in the ocean. And the Starship came down just perfect. And the great thing was that they flew later in the day. They flew at like 4:00 Central. And that when the Starship came down on the other side of the planet over in the Indian Ocean, it came down during daylight. So they timed it so they could get it coming down during daylight too. And they got great footage of it coming down just perfect. It would have been able to have been caught if they were trying to catch it.
I was about ready to say it's a good thing it didn't get caught because then that way I don't have to sit there again and rewind it 40 times and go, is that fake? It's so perfect. It's fake. It looks too good.
Oh yeah, it did look good when they caught it last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I guess I could say that was my geekgasm for the week because we had fun out at the fair and I got to talk models and I got to show off some of my. You finally got to see some of my models.
And I got to give kudos. I told Christy when I got home, I said I finally got to see a couple of Daryl's models up close and personal. And the newest one you had was the one that had impressed me the most, with all the Aztecing and stuff on it. I mean, they all had it.
Oh, the big one or the little one?
The smaller one. So if I was looking at the table, it was the one on the furthest left. I believe it was the newest one you just put together.
No, it's not the newest one. Now that's the Reliant. It's one of my newer ones, but that I did that other one that was there, the other big one. I did that one afterwards. But when I had purchased that, it was before I got really into the painting, and I had purchased the lighting kit. I had purchased the Aztec decals and all the stuff like that. So that was all everything that you could purchase and throw into it. Whereas the other one that had the hand done Aztec paint on it, that one, everything, the Aztec painting, the lighting, and all the stuff like that, I did that myself. There was no kit involved.
See, and that's one of those where I looked at it and what I was telling Christy, because I remember I asked if I could touch it and stuff. And it's like if I had not touched it, I would have assumed that had come out of a box and it was like a, a production made kit somewhere. It looked the idea that was a 3D print, not even on the board. It looked good, So that was it. I just wanted to give you the compliment.
It wasn't a 3D print,
huh?
I mean the stand I had it on was a 3D print, but the model was not
a 3D print. Well, I wouldn't even have guessed it was.
No, the model was a
standard. It looked like a resin.
The model was a standard $25 one that you bought at Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, it was that one that they had going for the longest time for Walmart, and then they had them all on clearance, and you could pick them up for like $10 a pop.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I picked up 3 of them, and that's where I built up my skills and got better and better on them.
On a whole nother, because I figured you, if anybody, might know this. I was looking up 3D prints of some ships I wanted to do the other day, and there is a USS Spengler. Is that correct, or is that just somebody's 3D print?
A what?
Spengler, like Egon Spengler from Ghostbusters. It's got the deck in the middle,
but
the jets off to the side. It's on Thingiverse. I'll have to look it up and show you, but it didn't look detailed enough to go.
Oh, you got me going. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, it was called Spengler. I was like, I'll ask
my
Daryl
nickname in. Yeah, no. My
they
nickname in the Marine Corps was Egon.
So I figured maybe you would know that, or you would have paid attention. But anyhow, well, if I was going to hit a geekgasm this week,
that's the Oberth Spengler class.
Yeah, was that it?
Somebody did the Oberth Spengler class. Okay,
is that real, or is that something somebody made up?
I'll find out what I can about it, because if they can put together, that with Star Trek, I'm all over it.
Yeah. Like the away shuttle that you sent me that was all Ghostbustered up. It's made me want to do some of that. Now that I can print and just
that was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, I might do some of that.
Well, no, what I liked was, if you remember that photo I sent you that I pulled off somebody's Facebook page. If you looked in the background, there was all these other types of ships and stuff like that were Ghostbustered out in the background of that one photo.
I gotta go back and look at that photo. Scroll. Ah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't send you shit. So, what was your geekgasm?
Oh, mine would have been. I had a good time at the con. Got to go out to dinner with a bunch of people afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Berto, it's on here and stuff was there, and it was a good time. It was good just
Kelly
chatting with everybody. Huh? Sorry, what?
Kelly says hi.
Kelly said, how am I not seeing?
Monkey says what? No. Kelly says hi
on chat, because I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, on the chat. If you look over to the side, it's got the chat. Then you go up to the top, and it says live stream chat, and you click on that.
I am not seeing it.
Get that arrow back up there where the 2 is.
Okay, that must be it. That's why I couldn't see anybody talking. Live stream chat.
Yep.
Well, hi, Kelly. All right. So hey there, Tim. He said, "Hey to Tim."
What's up?
Oh, and Alex. I'm not even going to read that aloud. Speaking Alexies. All right.
Be loud, be proud, Alex.
So, but then the other thing too is that terror dog I was making. I finished it. It's on the wall here. I got a couple of things I want to go on. It looked good, and I realized quickly how many people don't know what a terror dog is, because I keep getting people, like, even on one of my picture posts, somebody put, that looks like one of those dogs from Ghostbusters. It's like, yes, that's a terror dog, How
many hours you got into that thing?
Oh, it's hard to say, because the whole reason I finally mounted it is because I kept tripping over it and breaking it and having to fix it again.
It looks just like you got all those uneven seams out of it.
I got most of them out. Yeah, I did some sanding and some puttying, but yeah, it's hard to know. It's like when you draw a picture and then you start over again because you didn't quite like it, and then you just start again. Some of this other stuff, it's like I pulled it off, I spray painted it, it went real quick. But that one, 33 pieces or something, it took a little while.
Yeah.
But that was also one of my first really big prints like that.
Yeah.
If I did it now, I would do it very different. But so
See, I
I'm
need
gonna hit a
to,
little
like,
news I got. Is that all right? Unless you got some stuff.
yeah, come on.
Okay.
Well,
So
I've
one,
got just a couple little things to talk about, but I know as soon as I mention them, we're going to start bitching.
yeah, no, I got a political thing I might bring up later. We'll see. But so one of the things I want to bring up last week was the new Wicked movie, and I'm sure everybody's seen this by now. But they had a big recall on a bunch of the toys that went out, a bunch of the dolls, because a good section of them, I guess they must have used AI to write the boxes, so they had some placeholders. So they left the placeholder of wicked.com on there instead of wickedmovie.com. And this went out to Walmarts and everything everywhere. Coming to find out, wicked.com is a very old, very used porn site. So all these kids that were getting their Wicked dolls were going to the Wicked porn site to, I guess, to get their stuff. So they started sending out deals of, like, oh, you can bring your box back in. We'll get you a new doll, that kind of stuff. But if it were me, I'd be hanging on to that box because, those in 5 years are going to be worth some money.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I am pretty darn sure that it was not the kids going to the website. I mean, what kid even looks at the box after they get the toy?
I
Right?
I look at the stuff like that after my toys, but because I remember back in the days, you cut out the little Kenner sticker thing, Kenner deals, send them in, get your Boba Fett, get your whatever. I got a number of things like that in the past.
Oh yeah,
But that was mail back then, not email. So,
but you also got to think though too. These kids nowadays grow up with a damn phone in their hand. So if they see a website, man, what the hell? Tick, 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 they're on it.
yeah,
I saw one
Used to be it took 15
reels
minutes
where
for
somebody
AOL
had
to
gone
come
into
on.
the store after all this had gone on. Somebody had gone into the store and there was one of the dolls. There was a whole thing of the dolls there. He picked up one, turned it over, and there on the back, there it said, but it was so tiny and off in the corner, off by the UPC code, it said, wicked.com.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I'm like, it wasn't big. It wasn't like, here, go to this. It was just very small and in the corner. That's the reason that I don't think very many kids went to it.
See, and I normally, if I want to look something up, I'll just Google it then. But there's a number of things, like some of my collectible things, where I'll go look at what's on there because, like, they'll have a product list of all the items you want to get to finish that out, or something like that. Or I've definitely done that, but I think you're right. I don't think it was I don't know that a lot of people were complaining as much as finding out about it and then going like, oh, I got this information that they didn't know.
Well, I can guarantee fucking any dads that heard about that online said, well, I've got to check this out for sure. Baby, I've got to go do some research for our child. Fuck.
I want to know how many dads, as the mom was sitting there going, oh, look, wicked.com. Let's go ahead and enter that in. We're just sitting there going,
No.
I tell her. She'll ask how I know.
Out there, babe.
Hey, I'd be like, mom's going to look it up, and it's like, oh,
go ahead and log me in, and why do we have an account there?
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I wanted so bad to go look some of it up, and I just haven't yet. Because I know before the podcast I'd mentioned it, and you'd said something about Wicked Hotel or something like that you had looked up. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a wrong move.
Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting news, especially for toy collectors and stuff, because, well, like Kelly's probably a great one. He does toy stuff like that and resells. And, there's some stuff you always look at and you go, this will be worth money, this won't, but it'd be nice to have even a couple of those boxes just to see. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those movies I hope does well, but man, it seems like they're getting kicked in the nuts every time they turn around. So the other things I was going to mention, one is they did release an extended Thunderbolts trailer and a Thunderbolts clip this week, which has made me more excited for the movie. Thunderbolts being the Dark Avengers version for the Marvel Universe. And
you got to let them know that so they don't get excited like I did.
Yeah, because he's like with the marionettes.
It's not the puppet show.
And which just got us into Team America, and that was a whole nother conversation. But So if we get some time, we're going to watch the new Thunderbolts trailer. I think that was just released today. It's only a minute-long trailer, but it is the final trailer for the movie before it comes out. But man, they are
When is that
definitely
coming out?
shit, I can't remember. I think it's Thanksgiving weekend. I think it might be next weekend. I didn't.
Are we going to do a podcast Wednesday night?
I don't know. It's going to be right before Thanksgiving. We'll have to chat about that because my Thanksgiving plans are filling up pretty quick.
And my Thanksgiving is going to be completely free. I might actually get some shit done.
Really? I had one day free up already, but yeah, we'll chat about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Also, today, news just dropped because I'd mentioned, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or whatever, that Henry Cavill had signed with Marvel. Henry Cavill just signed with Star Wars.
Yes.
To be in the new trilogy. So the new non-Skywalker trilogy, the next 3 movies, he will be in the next 3 movies. We do not have any idea. Like, he is playing it close, not saying yet, like, good guy, bad guy, minor part, major part, nothing.
Henry Cavill, I love him so much because he's a geek like us, and he is strict about sticking to the lore, and I really hope that he stands up and helps bring some Star Wars back to where it should be.
My worry is he said
that's what I hope as well.
He's a big Jedi fan, so he'd like to do a Jedi, but they didn't say anything about it. So I'm like, oh man, I'm one of those guys. I feel there's too many Jedis.
He's such a big guy. He's such a big guy. He needs to be a Hut. Make him into a Hut.
No.
He needs to have his face and a big warm body. Usako Luka Jet. Yeah, come on, it'd be great.
Well, it's like when Simon Pegg was advising for episode 7, and they're like, Simon's going to be in the movie. Because I'm a Simon Pegg fan. I'm like, that's cool. And then he ended up playing the junk dealer there.
Yeah.
Who didn't speak English. Yeah. He was totally under prosthetics. There was no,
not even prosthetics. If you didn't know it was him, you would have never known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, but, on the other side, look how good they did Bill Burr.
Yes.
Oh, they did. Bill Burr, yeah. And he wasn't even a Star Wars fan to start with, but he loves his character now. And he was in 2 different episodes of Boba Fett?
Well, and he played just a fucking...
I thought it was a Mandalorian.
Or Mandalorian. Yeah. Mandalorian.
Okay. I mean, he just played pretty much a thief, really, is what it boiled down to, a mercenary thief. And I enjoyed that character more than I did. Huh?
I thought he played a stormtrooper.
No,
an ex-Imperial.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
But ex-stormtrooper. Okay.
Kind of went to the roguish nature of space pirate type person.
Oh, Kristen says, by the way, I need to get with you about buying mead. Message Chris. Oh, Christy did tell me you messenger this weekend. I was out of town convention in Wichita. Anyway, been busy, and I did mean to get back with you. I'm sorry. I'll get with you. I'll send you an email tonight. We'll get that set up. So yeah, Henry Cavill, new trilogy.
Okay, that was.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The delay is getting me just a little. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Then they did release that there's new Blade information, even though they just canceled Blade. They may be not doing a Blade movie, but Blade will probably make an appearance in Midnight Suns now. And they are definitely keeping Black Knight and stuff. So we're going to see that. So this is one of the reasons I hate reporting on Marvel news, because then they just turned it around. So they made the announcement that they would like to keep Channing Tatum as Gambit, and they are looking into those options, which means that's where they're moving. And then they also mentioned that Blade may be making appearances now in Midnight Suns. And then today, of course, at the D23 and wherever the hell it is, Barcelona right now or whatever, they made announcements for 96 and 97 announcements for all the mutant stuff coming out. And if anybody watched it, it was so lackluster, I'm going to say. It was a lot of nothing sandwich where it's like, oh yeah, we're we're bringing in some X-Men and like Fantastic Four, and we're going to bring in some X-Men and all these various little movies until the Mutant Saga comes, and you're going to recognize a lot of the X-Men and get excited. We're getting some big name actors, get excited, and it's like, you told us no new information. Like, they made all these announcements, and none of them that I saw was an announcement. They were all like
hints.
Yeah, we're doing the stuff that you already knew we were doing, but we're making an announcement as if you didn't know we were already doing it. And that makes it hard to cover Marvel sometimes, because they just, they'll make an announcement.
They're trying to keep that excitement alive, and I'm sorry, but you can't keep the same level of excitement going for 20 plus years.
Well, and stuff now, it's like it's 2024 now. Some of those announcements they made today were for 2027. And it used to be like, we're getting really excited when we go, oh, we're going to see Spider-Man for the first time in the MCU. That's a big deal. Or we're going to see Deadpool come over the MCU. That's a big deal. People are like interested in that. When you're like, oh, hey, we're making a Fantastic Four movie. Well, yeah, we've been waiting. We've been waiting for a while. We're going to bring in some X-Men. Yeah, we've been waiting.
Well, have you seen the last 3 Fantastic Fours you made? They're kind of
they tried that Fantastic Four thing, and the glove did not fit.
Yeah, they didn't make them. Although I did like the middle 2 Fantastic Four movies that Fox did. I genuinely, I know everybody will hate me for that, but I like.
We don't hate you. We just question your taste. Okay.
The one where they had the dude that played Captain America as the Human Torch. Yep. It was okay.
There was a lot, but you got to also remember back then we didn't have all the Marvel Cinematic Universe to compare it to. This is why I also always say, like, I really liked Howard the Duck.
Okay. Okay, like here was one of my problems with the one with the Silver Surfer. Okay. Forget the bear. All right. The first thing that happened that made me go, what the fuck? All right, was when he punched that hole in the river bottom of the Thames River. All right. And then all the water went away.
That's not going to happen. The ocean will dry first.
Well, the ocean will come up from one direction, and there's still water coming downstream from the other direction. So it wouldn't be a completely dry riverbed. There would still be water flowing in.
It's a tidal river. It actually has a tide that ebbs and flows there.
You guys know you're right. The movie about 4 people going into space and cosmic energy turned them into a giant rock and a flaming thing and Stretchy Man and Invisible, and then they have to fight.
And they need to keep that science tight
from another. The most unbelievable part about all that is the fucking river. You are right.
No, my problem is if you want me to suspend my disbelief about that, get the other shit right.
You're right. You're right. When they put a little bit of realism in there and not just oh, it's magic. I've been struggling with that because I've mentioned it on here 100 times. 2 things in the geek universe I've never been huge into is Power Rangers and Harry Potter. So we went through and started watching all the Harry Potter movies, which I really do like. I'm on the 6th one, but we went to Oklahoma 2 weeks ago, and I had to look at Frankie, and we talked a good chunk of the way down of, I have so many Harry Potter questions now because there's so much shit in there that doesn't make sense. Like tons of shit that I thought this elaborate lore. It's like Star Wars and Marvel Comics and everything. They've gone through and made all these little things and retcon stuff to make it fit. And there's such a lore. And they got, the Universal Pictures place that has, actual buildings. Surely they've gotten rid of some of the dumb stuff they put in there. There was so much shit in there. It doesn't make sense that I would love to do a Harry Potter episode with some Harry Potter experts. We could do an hour podcast of just me asking questions because there's so much that doesn't make sense.
That is where Star Wars is science fiction and Star Trek is science fantasy. Star Wars is science fantasy and Star Trek is science fiction. Harry Potter is just straight up fiction. It is a flight of fancy, and as soon as he turned 10 years old, reality went out the freaking window. Why does not a single one of those kids have a cell phone?
Well, and that was actually my first question. I said, when does these movies
Oh.
take place. Because to me, like all the cars
take
are like
place-
1940s, 1950s, and the way everybody dresses is that
They
way.
take place
Nobody
in the
has cell
90s.
phones.
It takes place, if I remember correctly, it takes place in the 90s.
Yeah, that's what I'd heard. Well, pretty much modern day, but yeah. But they never show you
No, not
anything.
modern day. 90s.
Well, in modern day, because didn't it start coming out in the early 2000s, but the books were written in the 90s?
Yeah, the books were written in like the late 80s, early 90s is like when everything.
That's what I had in my head
yeah.
was like when the story was created, modern day. Sorry, but yeah, again, where are the cell phones? Where are the fucking the lawsuits for every kid that falls off a Quidditch broom, or every time some giant mystical monster ends up beating the shit out of a kid or almost killing him in the Hogwarts?
Mm-hmm.
There's none of that. But that's all. That's up for another podcast.
You have to sign a release. Remember that kickball release you signed as a kid? You know, where if you lost an arm, a leg, and an eye, you know, you couldn't sue. Yeah, they have to sign one of those for Hogwarts too.
Wait, at one point they did that where they wouldn't let Harry Potter go on a field trip because he didn't have a signature from a parent, but they don't mind letting him fly 2 miles up on a fucking broom or go out and pet a wild hippogriff or fucking fight a dragon. All that's cool, man. Compete in the fucking goblet of fire and where they say everybody's probably going to die, and then when one guy does die, they're super surprised. But that you don't need a permission slip for that shit. The teacher's just like, you just go on and do that. But getting on a bus to go to a field trip, I don't know. I got so many questions. Berto says, and there's Berto. Harry Potter takes place in 91 to 98. Makes no sense to me. I'm not criticizing because I'm really liking the movies, but it just doesn't make sense. We're doing a Harry Potter episode, damn it. We're going to get a guest on.
They are young adult books. They aren't supposed to make sense.
What got me is when earlier in January we went up to St. Louis to do the Pirate Festival there with Smoke that we had on here, and we stayed at his house, and him and his wife were playing the new Harry Potter video game, and they were just showing us all and it looked cool as hell, and they're throwing all this lore at us, and it really made me go, it's like sitting around talking Lord of the Rings with my friends. You know, this is how I felt. So Harry Potter must be cooler than I'm seeing.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm struggling here.
It's just that's what they grew up on. We grew up on Lord of the Rings.
I guess, and again, it's not. I'm not criticizing. I just.
And there was, for us, cool fantasy animation there was so little of it out there. We had to find things like Fire and Ice.
I was just gonna say Fire and Ice, Wizards.
Wizards, which was more geared toward an adult theme. So we were like going, "Ooh, hey, heavy metal! Look, titties."
Yeah. I was gonna say with Wizards actually.
Yeah.
I came out of that theater from Wizards a changed child.
Me too. Yeah. First of all, I knew I'd fuck a fairy. Secondly,
well, are we going back to the prison stories?
Well, yeah.
Well, there is a number of that, but there's some of those like Wizards, which I loved growing up. I go back and watch them now. And there are times I go, some of them I'm like, oh, this is better than I remember. It just gives you that nostalgia. Some things, Escape from LA was one, or New York was one. I went back and watched it, and I loved it growing up. But I watch it now, and I'm like, oh, me and my buddies could write a better script this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I could maybe write a better one while I'm watching it.
But you look at Mad Max the Road Warrior, and it still holds its own.
Yeah.
Well, but keep in mind, even back then, they knew how bad they were, and so the spoof movies were already coming out while those movies were big. I mean, you've got your Spaceballs, you've got your Ice Pirates.
Love Ice Pirates.
Still love Ice Pirates.
Yes.
What was that one? Cherry 2000.
That was good.
I remember that, but I couldn't tell you the synopsis of it now.
Yeah,
but
even back then, they were making the spoofy ones. That the things that they knew. Okay, what we're creating is crap, but we're going to go ahead and put it out. Hell, Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh, that was okay.
Well, yeah,
and it had George Peppard in it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Space Trucker.
Space Trucker. That's a cult classic, bro. You know it. You know it.
I know we're a minute behind everybody else because people are talking about the Harry Potter and the sides, and I want to hit it, But most of my key questions, I'm going to save them for a Harry Potter episode. I know the Magic World is separate, but I have a
We
million
should have
questions
one
about that too.
this coming Wednesday. Let's do a Thanksgiving Harry Potter.
Thanksgiving Harry Potter. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll have to find somebody who knows a lot about Harry Potter because I do have. That means I'm gonna have to watch the last 2 movies now. Tim.
There is no, scarcity of people who know a shit ton about Harry Potter.
Before we move on from the cool old movies, let's give it up for Rock and Rule.
That's one of my favorites all time.
Yeah,
that was a very good one.
Very, very good.
There is one 3D print out there for Rock and Rule. Trust me, I've looked everywhere. If anybody else can find me at something other than the taxi, I would be ecstatic. But
okay, now here's a couple other things here. Did you see they released pictures on the live production of How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh yes, I was going to send you that and I forgot.
Yeah.
But not everybody in that little trailer thing they put out is going to be in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, some of those actors.
What a lot of people are complaining about is they tried to find actors who looked like the characters for every character but Astrid. And all of a sudden, Astrid is no longer a blonde girl. Nope.
I guess I didn't see that.
What is she?
She is not somebody of Scandinavian origin, and she's got dreads.
Oh, so they went a little more DI kind of thing.
God, I hate it when they do that.
I mean, I get it to a point in some things. Don't get me wrong, but
well, I mean, I can understand
that is a cultural thing. That is Vikings. That is
That's the whole thing. It's cultural. Damn it. And
there are other cultures too besides the minorities. Yeah.
Yep.
And what was the other thing?
More,
Dune.
The minorities are minorities.
Sorry, Ash. What was that?
I've started seeing where they're plugging a lot for the Dune series that they're putting out.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of ads on that too.
And surprise, surprise, it's a prequel.
Yeah. Real quick before we get off the
even though the books go thousands of years in the future, they couldn't mine any of that crap. No, they got to go with another frickin' prequel,
so they can write it themselves.
There have been the occasional prequels that are real good, but
name them.
The Silmarillion.
Oh shit.
He said good, not fucking weighty.
Let's see. I will say it's the worst of the original trilogy, but Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, that was a prequel. That happened before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
You're right, it did.
Yeah.
And of the original trilogy, it is the worst one.
It is. But then they did the fourth one and the fifth one, and now it's got competition.
They really made it bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And that fourth one, what was it? The Crystal Skull. I couldn't literally 5 minutes in, I was already. They pulled away my suspension of disbelief when the kid was riding on a Harley in the 40s that had disc brakes.
Oh, this is like again that a movie with aliens and everything.
That's the part that blew you.
That's my ass.
But at the very beginning, I mean, if they couldn't control that one little bit to make sure that they had a period correct motorcycle, or at least whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Berto says Dune is okay, not terrible, not great. It is based on the books, not that great. See, and that goes back and forth. I grew up watching the old movies of Dune and stuff. And again, it's like we were talking, there was only so much out there. So that was one of those things you just loved because there was out there. I still have not watched the second Dune movie yet of the new ones. I am having a hard time, and it's nothing against them. Great actors, everything's good. I'm having a hard time getting into them. But that's also, I think that's my mindset.
I can tell that they were trying to build everything up for Dune Messiah, which is cool. All right. I can tell that they were trying to lead into that. But the way that they left off at the end of Dune 2, I did not like the way that they did that. And I'm not going to say what it is because, you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way that Chani was her reaction at the end of the movie. It was not consistent with what the books were. But then again, I read the book, when I was a kid, and in 1983, I think it was when the original Dune movie came out with Patrick Stewart.
That sounds
And
about right.
yeah, but the thing is that it wasn't until like the mid 2000s that somebody pointed out that in that original 83 movie, in order to, for whatever freaking reason, they came up with, the weirding devices that would shoot the sound waves. Remember that
Right.
from that 83 movie?
Right.
Not in the books anywhere.
Right.
Berto was just saying
Yeah.
that I think he's talking the new show is based on the book written by Herbert's son. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah, after Frank Herbert died, his son took over a lot of his because he had access to all of his dad's notes, and his dad was one hell of a world builder. All right, kind of like Tolkien, he really built his world up, and so his son was able to take those notes and continue on a lot of what the dad's vision was. But I have, when he finished that first book of his dad's, I read it a long time ago. You can tell that the flavor changed because it's a different author. He was trying to stick with what his father was doing, and he did a really good job, but you could tell the flavor changed. And that's just what you're going to run into anything. Like, I've often said, and I've said it ad nauseum, that if they really wanted to have their next Game of Thrones series, they need to make Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders apparent.
I've heard
Right.
you mention it numerous times.
An amazing series.
I would rather see Dragonlance done.
We talked about that a little bit last week, actually.
Yeah, I love Dragonlance.
Different direction, but I see what you're talking about.
Right.
All right, but the thing is that after Anne McCaffrey passed away, I forget who they got to finish off her last couple of books. Once again, you had that just, even though they were trying really hard to stick with what, the original author had in mind, it's just going to change because you have a different person writing it, and that's all
And
there is to it.
I know
This is an instance where AI would come in good. Sorry, go ahead.
I know I'm a bad geek when I say this, but the bad geek when I say, but I never did watch the last season of Game of Thrones, and from what I hear, that's pretty much what they did. Is they took everything that he had written and said, we're going to finish it on our own.
They did because he didn't get the next books out.
Yeah, and it was just horrible.
They fucked it up.
Kristen says,
They were so much. They were so much just saying, screw it, we're going to run to the finish line. You heard about that one thing where in one episode, someone had left the Starbucks cups on the table.
Yeah. Saw that.
And yes, Kristen, Dragonlance.
I'm still, and I know Kelly's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kristen. You are absolutely right. The Wheel of Time series, I could not literally, I could trying to reconnect, make sure I have a stable connection. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I could not get past the first episode or two of the Wheel of Time series because of how much they did my boy Perrin wrong.
I completely concur with
that. I don't care. I didn't care that they, turned him not white. I didn't give a shit about that. The fact that they made him lazy, they gave him a wife that he didn't take care of, and that he killed his wife and his unborn child in the first episode. They completely did my boy Perrin wrong.
Kelly's right.
Kelly beat me to it. I was about ready to say it. I said I knew Kelly's got my back on this, but Necroscope, and I've said it on here before. I want to see a Necroscope series, and Kelly knows more about this than I do because he knows who's bought the movie rights and stuff. And I always love it when a fan buys it. Oh, and there's my wife. She heard Necroscope series, poking her head in. If they did that, and it's nice when somebody owns the rights, actually gives a crap. Yeah, see.
I would so watch Necroscope.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Daryl's
What
wife.
is Necroscope?
It's a vampire series, but done in a super realistic way. We'll say. I mean, I can't do the series of books justice in a quick description. But
you mean better than Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah. Take
Yeah.
everything you know of vampires, throw it out the fucking window, and make it cool. And
vampires don't sparkle on this one.
They don't.
You want to know another cool vampire one? but there would be no good guys. The cool characters would be all the bad guys. Ravenloft.
Yeah, Ravenloft would
Yeah.
be good, but that's
The
also
lore
when
with
it's been.
Ravenloft is just wow.
I think if they did
Mhm.
Ravenloft to do it proper justice, you'd have to do a streaming series on that one.
I agree with that.
I don't
yeah.
think you could just make that a movie. It
No, there's too much. And
And
Ravenloft and Dragonlance coexist.
and I think for the way society, I don't know, the way culture is working right now, something like that, Dragonlance or Ravenloft would both be good streaming series. Because like we watched the last Dungeons and Dragons movie, and
It was
I really
great.
enjoyed
I loved it.
but I think adding that element of comedy with the action adventure in it, that's kind of what they need.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that that's the way they would go with that kind of stuff. Because if you did a drama series like that in movies, you're gonna run the problem that a number of us do with Dune, where it's just hard to walk or sit through, and you're like, man, most people just don't want to get depressed for an hour and a half. They want something that's gonna keep them happy, and we get less comedies. Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna get the whole bitch there.
One of the
Yeah.
things I liked about the new Dungeons and Dragons movie is the protagonist was not a badass. All right, he had
Agreed, yes.
he had a little bit of Shaggy in him. All right, both the singer and the cartoon. Okay, and I think that was a good thing. You know, just to make him a little bit of a non badass coward. I think that was a great idea.
Dang it, I'm trying to scroll up in chat. It's not letting me. I see Berto says I'm still waiting on the Hellraiser show, which we had Hellraiser for a while. I enjoyed that. Or no, I'm thinking Hellblazer. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Constantine. My apologies. Yeah, I never got big into Hellraisers. And then was it Kristen put EE Knights Vampire Earth series would be able to be on an amazing series, and Kelly put Necroscope needs to be a serious, dark, great take on vampires.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
I wanted to say, because you mentioned the live action How to Train Your Dragon, I got to give them kudos because they did bring Gerard Butler in to play his dad, and that's who voiced him in the animation. And that's an actor I like anyway. Him being able to come in and do the voice, do the character, I like that they did that. But apparently, maybe they're not keeping up with the rest of the casting, so we'll see.
But like I said, the butt hurt is coming from Astrid.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
It's like deep down inside of me, I really hope and pray they do something with Lobo. They're
working on it. It sounds.
But then part of me says, no, please don't. You're gonna fuck it up. I'm
pretty sure this all got put in the works. James Gunn is a big Lobo fan, and he's running all the DC EU now. And when they announced James Gunn was taking over, Jason Momoa, and there's a video you can watch of it. He got a call from James Gunn,
he would make a good Lobo.
Yeah, let him know he is no longer doing Aquaman, but he will be doing somebody else in the DCEU, and he was so excited. But it's pretty fucking obvious that he will be playing Lobo.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is more Lobo than he is Aquaman.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Ryan Reynolds is more Deadpool than Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Agreed. Oh yeah, for real. Yeah.
Agreed. And when that's the thing is Momoa was pushing. He went in wanting to be Lobo, and when they brought him in, he thought they were going to make him Lobo, and they offered him Aquaman. But he did a good job with Aquaman. I'm a big Aquaman fan. It's not who I would have chose, but I get it. I get him being Aquaman 100%.
It was not Air Capital Comic Con. It was ICT Comic Con. There was a guy walking around, and if you've been watching The Boys,
yeah,
all right. There was a guy walking around in the Deep cosplay, and strapped to his crotch like a cod piece was an octopus.
I knew it when you said it. I even started mouthing it because I saw it coming. Oh dang it!
Yeah.
There you go. I did not see that there, but I would have definitely taken a picture of that shit.
That would have been.
It was hilarious. Everywhere he went, people were like, "Ah!" Yeah, it was hilarious.
See, and that is a good example. And some people will disagree with me on this, and that's okay. But to me, the Boys series did it better than the comic. And the comic was good, but I rare occasions we get that where the movie or the series was done better than the comic, and which is saying a lot
But-
because the comic was pretty decent.
Butcher
I
was
would
a
like to
bad
put that
motherfucker
onto
comic.
Carl Urban.
Huh? Oh,
I'd like
Carl-
to put that onto Carl Urban because he also did great with Dread.
Oh, he did
and
awesome with Dredd.
You know they were
Awesome with
making
Dredd.
a boys movie before that, and they had what was it? Colin Farrell, I think, was going to play Butcher, and
The Penguin?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Colin Farrell. If not, it was what's the other actor? I always get him confused with. I'm pretty sure it was Colin Farrell anyway, but yeah, they had to just look it up. I can't remember who all was cast. Some of it you're like, oh, that totally makes sense, but it works so much better as a series than it would have a movie.
Well, with a movie, you wouldn't have been able to get it all in there.
Max's Spawn would be awesome. Mac, they are making a new Spawn movie right as we speak. They're also working on a new Spawn series. Kelly says, I'm glad
I
you
like
turned
how
me on.
Kelly says he's turned on to boys. Go ahead.
There you go. The Boys is fun. Invincible is fun too, but the Boys and Gen V is good, and they're bringing that all together.
Gen V was good. Invincible, I didn't dig so much. The boys are just rock.
And I haven't read the Invincible comic, but Gabe has, and he's updated me. I think the comic seems like it's probably better than the cartoon, but the cartoon they've done very good with.
See, I've never read the comic on the Invincibles, but I did like the the series. I did like it.
The series made me look into the comic, and the comic's a lot more in depth. Really, the comic is just more in depth. I mean, there's more to it, but
that's anything. That's the reason. Like, if there's a movie I know I'm going to watch, I do not. You know, the thing is that you want to watch the movie before you read the book. That's the way you have to do it, because if you read the book first, your mind draws that picture, and then you're all pissed because the people on the screen don't look like the pictures in your brain. All right. And then you're like, oh, they didn't talk about such and such and such and such. I have a firm belief that for every hour of movie, for every 100-page of book, you need at least an hour of movie.
Kelly says,
So if it gets,
I saw that.
sorry, keep going.
what?
Kelly said, "Fuck you, Tim." It just came up, so
He didn't say fuck you, Tim. It said fuck you.
it was to Tim.
No,
was
it
to Tim.
wasn't.
Sorry.
Kelly loves me, man.
But I still think it's 100-page of book. A 1-hour movie per 100-page of book, for a written book. That's not a graphic novel. And if you're going into a movie that you've read the book from, there's going to be all kinds of stuff that they dropped off, all kinds of stuff they didn't include because they just can't include it, and they're not going to look like what you want them to look like because your brain drew something else. But if you watch the movie first, then read the book, then you can sit there and go, oh, they've already got the picture of the people, and then you can go, okay, now I understand why they did such and such, because now I can read more in depth. You're not pissed that it's not there. You're happy that you can get more from it.
I agree with part of that. I do, yeah.
I agree with part of it. I know you said it always happens. Because we grew up in the day back when they would make a movie and then they'd make a novelization of the movie so that you could then go read it.
And basically all they did was take the script and then write the action around the script. Yeah.
And back in our days
those.
they would do like they do American novelization, the European novelization with two different authors, and then they'd have different things in the books, and it got old. But
they
doesn't work
changed
for
Harry
everything.
Potter for the American audience.
Huh? They what?
They changed Harry Potter for the American audience.
Well, I'm sure they did. But Stephen King book is one where sometimes the movie has more in it, sometimes than the books did. And
there can be, in those situations, yes, there can. Something that originally started off as a movie, Gremlins. All right, something that originally started off as a movie, and then they did the novelization, like you said. I absolutely agree. But if you read Game of Thrones, all right.
Yeah, I haven't read Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but I started off reading Game of Thrones, and I got pissed that it was like 7 years between books, and I said, "Fuck you, I'm not reading them anymore." But yeah, so if you start off reading the novels and then go into it, that's where you drop all kinds of stuff. That's where you drop everything from, the Lord of the Rings. All right, there's no way that they could have made that. Even being 3 2-hour movies, that still was not enough for those.
No.
But that being said, then they fuck around with The Hobbit, which at max should have been a 2-movie set, and then pad it with so much crap to turn it into a 3-movie set just because they think it should be a trilogy. That was a stupid move.
When those movies came out, that was the biggest complaint you heard from everybody pretty much is, oh, there's no Tom Bombadil or whatever. There's no, they left out so much. And that's okay though, because
all of it. Yeah.
We were all getting a pretty good adaptation of those books that we never thought we'd get, or a lot of us didn't think we were going to get that good of an adaptation.
Right.
You know,
and they did what they could do in the movie, but I mean, like, they didn't go into hardly any lore on the Haradrim or the Black Corsairs or anything. You know?
saving all that for the streaming services that we're not going to watch.
Yeah.
Berto says, how do you feel about Uzumaki? I have not watched
even pronounce it, dude.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
It sounds like a type of sushi.
And here we are at an hour. I was going to get into some of the politically correct stuff, but
let me show you the one thing that I was going to show you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can get this to play. Okay, here.
I want to watch that Thunderbolts trailer if we can, real quick. That's only a minute and a half. But go ahead.
Hold on. Bring.
Because we also had that new
here. There it is.
Andor trailer.
It's only 30 seconds long.
All right.
See what we're
here
watching.
Here it is. I mean, originally I was watching this. Can you see it?
It looked like something was hiding behind the corner.
All right. Originally, this started off.
You might have to mute that because I can't hear what you're saying. We're looking at a room with water in it and a kid.
No, it's a woman.
It's a woman. And it's raining in this room now.
All right. Yeah. All right, that's all I'm going to play of it. But basically, my thing was, I originally started watching. I was like, "Oh, that's so bougie," you know. They're doing that. You know, you have this room they can go in and they can simulate the rain. All right, but then my brain, after I watched it, my brain went, "Oh man, that's so vault tech, man. That's some freaking, you know, we can't go to the outer world anymore. So here, you've been good in the vault. You get to experience what rain is like." It was very dystopian-ish, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
And I wanted to show you, my brain started off with, oh, rich people. Then it went to, ooh, vault people.
I see Kelly put the post you made on Facebook went crazy because I probably mentioned the politically correct.
Oh, yeah.
I'll touch that just real quick because I don't want to get into it. But I just put up a deal that a lot of people were using as a political post, but it was, you know, we should all get along, peace, love, and happiness, pretty much. And even now, I still get comments. I got a lot at the con this weekend because apparently, even if we have different political opinions, people can't get along. But it wasn't a political thing. I posted up for the WAGs actually because I've been kind of shitty to the guys lately, and they've been dealing with me griping about stuff. And so I posted up because last at Oklahoma we all got along. We changed some stuff. We were all on the same page and making the group better and making plans for the future. I was enjoying it. So I posted it. And even once I say it's not a political post, there are still some people that were coming at it hard. But I also noticed I was going to take it down but I want people to see. I've noticed when we've gotten fight or arguments before, if you take it down and people start going, oh, I never said that. And I know I could take screenshots, but I just left it up.
Write it out, man.
Just write it out.
Just write it out. Yeah.
That's what I did. And I shut up but people questioned me about it at con because people were telling you your political beliefs right away and stuff. And the best one I got was somebody had sent me a thing because it was the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children appropriate ages thing. Because I've had a couple conventions that say, please do not say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So then I don't. I try to be very courteous about that kind of stuff. And somebody had said, I found the perfect non-binary, just perfect intro to sum that all up. And it's just, what's up, fuckers? And I'm thinking about just starting to use that. I'm not
gender neutral.
complaining about any side or anything, but holy shit, nobody gives you a chance to talk or tell your side of the story. And it's getting old because I don't ever post political stuff online, and I don't talk political stuff because I have a lot of business partners, including you, including people at Anime Fest, including festivals I work for and stuff. If I start putting political opinions online, it can cause them financial difficulties, and that's not fair. So I just don't talk about it.
I don't put up
people try to put
political
stuff in your mouth.
Yeah.
Again,
no, and that's the thing is we are now in, they call it all, this is now, like the, the post-fact, generation, or, it's, they try to give all this labels to the generation that we're in right now. The true, in my belief is, the truth of it is we are now in the generation of the recreationally offended.
Well,
and we have it so easy. We have it so easy that people are, they have nothing real to complain about most of the time. So they are complaining about stupid shit.
Well, it sucks because I got a couple of friends that based on a post of me putting peace, love, and happiness, kindness, or whatever, that they've decided to not be friends with me anymore. And I'm like, well, I'm not sure what I was supposed to do there. Was I supposed to take the post down? Was I supposed to apologize and say whatever your beliefs are? Because I at no point had said any beliefs I had. I don't know what I was supposed to do in those situations. So I just go, well, and if you don't want to be my friend on it, then just don't, because that's not the toxic.
You say thank you. You say thank you because they showed you that though you considered them a friend, they never considered you a friend.
Right. And I shouldn't say there's a lot. There's two people, but still.
But if they're willing to end a friendship over something that wasn't even political to begin with, then you probably don't want to be a friend at all anyways.
Well, I get that, like with the recent election, the timing was bad, and that people are very animated. You and I have gotten in arguments over this recent election, which, oh boy, I want to give you some shit after this too. But because we don't share some of the same political opinions. So we've gotten in fights about it, but we can do that because we're brothers and we know each other well enough to go.
Hey, don't say that. Civil War, that was brother against brother. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's one of those things that if somebody else goes like, oh, even if you're on my side or not on my side, but even if you are, but you don't believe 100% the way I do, then you're just wrong. It's like, holy crap, you can't do that in politics or religion, man.
George Carlin.
Love
George Carlin. He had this one thing that he said, and it was about religion. So, I mean, please, I apologize that I'm coaching it about religion, but it's that same thought because he's like, all right, do you believe in God? No. You're dead. All right. Do you believe in God? Yeah. Do you believe in my God? No. You're dead. My God's got a bigger dick than your God. And it's basically people are just fine chopping it down, and it doesn't matter how closely aligned you are, you will still find reasons to hate one another. And that's the reason the most hierarchical and close-knit church, where everybody is lockstep, they're still at one another's throats because they still find reasons to hate one another. And in my opinion, go ahead, sir.
Okay. The thing that really just chaps my ass about the whole deal is the post that John had put up was, hey, we can all agree to disagree, but we can still all be friends at the end of the day, basically.
Because we're adults, yeah.
Because we're adults. And then people took that
I remember.
No, we can't, motherfucker. Well, John was saying, I'm man enough to do this. I'm man enough to respect your views and let you have your views, and I have my views, and there's no reason we can't get along if we don't agree on the same things. Well,
and that's the thing. Even
are
people
not
with
mature enough for that.
The same political view I had were on there saying, and if you're friends with anybody on the other side, you are dead to me. And it's like, holy shit. You're putting that's saying in a two-party system, you have to believe everything to one extreme on one side or the other. it's a two-party system. We should believe a little bit of each side here. But
Yeah, John was saying,
politics.
"Hey, I
That's
respect you
exactly
for your
what I was
views."
going to mention. Is
John was saying, "I respect you for
yeah,
your views,"
it's
and they were saying, "I disrespect you for your views."
Yeah.
You know, that just didn't make a
Yeah.
lick of sense.
yeah, and that's it all boils down to this imposed two-party system that the two ruling parties have placed upon us and make us have to choose between the shiniest of two turds. And I'm tired of it.
Exactly.
And
We-
I think we should have some real moderate parties out there, because the thing is that every year, every election cycle, to differentiate themselves even more, the right goes righter, the left goes lefter, and the 90% of us in the middle are just completely left alone
Yeah. Well,
and unrepresented.
And the big argument, and even Kristen had mentioned it here, and I'm not singling Kristen out. She's great. Don't get me wrong. But she'd mentioned too that the timing was bad, and I get it. That saying anything that could be taken political during, but that's also saying that I'm trapped in there's certain things I just can't say that somebody may or may not take politically until everybody's totally cool with it, which may be in 6 months. So I just got to like if I want to say something to the wags of, hey dudes, I've been a dick lately, but I appreciate everybody keeping with me. Something like that. I'm not allowed to say that unless I specifically say those words, because somebody else might go, oh, well, I could have taken that politically, and I am very sensitive politically, which just puts us in I've already got to watch what I say about everything else so I don't trigger anyone or anything else, and it's tough. And I try to be very
true
considerate.
American, your first protected right is your freedom of speech. And if someone cannot afford you your freedom of speech, then they need to just fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't
But
need them in your life.
I don't want to get on that too much because that is the thing. So I'll just start off every episode now. What's up, fuckers? And we're good from there, right? So it's
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
As one of them there fuckers, I agree.
So next week we're going to talk about Harry Potter is the plan.
But are we doing it the night before Thanksgiving?
We'll see. We'll do it the night before Thanksgiving. We might change the night depending on what everybody's Thanksgiving plans are. Let's see. Berto says, I accept everyone's opinions as long as they agree with me. All others will be executed.
I love it, Berto. I love it.
No. Berto and I had disagreements this week even. I brought up the Warhammer thing from last week.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a whole thing I was going to say on that.
That's another.
So
Berto and I are both right at different levels.
Stand against the wall right now, man. Just stand against the wall. He's coming for you.
Yeah. And also, Berto thinks that RoboCop is so much better than, than Ghostbusters. And we know that that's just.
Oh, you got to admit they had 209 rocks, bro.
It does.
Yeah, fuck it does.
Well, it's like me giving Daryl shit about Star Trek, because I do love Star Trek. I really do.
Yeah.
But I like giving him shit about it. I will give Berto shit about RoboCop. He's just better at giving me shit about RoboCop. So it's, yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not so good about giving you shit about the Ghostbusters because I really, don't care or know anything about it. It has so little to do with my life.
I'm not going to give you any shit about what you love and believe in because it sucks really bad. And I'm not going to waste my time.
Because you still support, even though I'm sitting in a Ghostbuster room, you still support my favorite movie for me. And my favorite movie still, I will say, is Flash Gordon. I still like that better than Ghostbusters. I do.
My wife still says that's 2 hours of her life she won't get back. And I say, no, bitch. It's an hour and 45 minutes.
I was just going to say what she did for 20 minutes about it afterwards. How'd she lose 2 hours? Yeah. No, I absolutely, I still, and I get how people do not like Flash Gordon. I totally get it, but it's got a special warm place. Every little cheesy thing in it, every bad line, all that, it all just, it fits into my childhood. It's part of what's made me.
Fuck you, Mac.
Never landed on the
moon. No,
he's wrong. We never left the moon because the Nazis.
When we're handling, but when we're handling out samples of our wine, all right, and people go, oh, it's not for me. I don't like it, and they feel really bad about telling me they don't like it. The thing I always tell them is, if we all like the same thing, it'd be a very boring world. So don't worry about not liking it.
Exactly.
Well, it just even last week we tried to do a kind of a new brew with the Wags, and our connection didn't go well. But Mac, he bought all these beers, and he says, "I'm going to start you off with the one I know you're going to hate the most."
I liked it.
So that we could, and it was really fucking
Yeah,
good.
it was pretty
It was
good.
it was an IPA, and I'm not a big IPA guy, but it was like an IPA with a red, and we're all sitting there going, "Oh, this is a really good one."
Yeah,
the others
it
all
was.
have shit to stand up to now.
Yeah.
But it's that whole thing of everything's going to hit you different at different times, whether it be a beer, a movie, or whatever. Max says, tell her to watch Flesh Gordon. No, I haven't even watched Flesh Gordon. All the way through.
I'd tell her just to touch it and call it her precious. I'll have a good night.
All right, we should finish up because we've gone almost an hour and a half. We had nothing to talk about tonight with the exception of a few things.
No.
We're like, let's just start. We'll just talk and we'll be good. There's plenty to talk about. There always is. Next week we won't have to have anything.
Yep.
That's when all the news will come out, and we're going to talk about Harry Potter instead.
You want to do that Thunder Chicken fucking demo or trailer?
Hey, yeah, let's watch
me
Thunderbolts
see.
real quick. Are you cool with that? Because
Let me
this is
see
the
here.
last
I think it's
trailer.
this one.
And chances are
Let
we'll
me
be talking about the movie next time around. You know,
Hold on. It was at the minute 22 one.
that sounds right.
All right. Let me share.
And then we'll end up.
screen.
Oh, Max said Lost Colony Brewery, Waterfront Beer Garden is where he got that.
And they rock, by the way.
So far. Max,
Let me
liked
know when you're
everything.
ready.
All right, we're ready.
What's the plan?
It's up to us.
Against a god.
Since Nat's gone, I tried to live a normal life.
Former Red Room assassin. God only knows the blood on your hands.
Isn't that why we're all here?
What the hell?
You got a convoy approaching fast.
All of us standing here, we were hired by one person.
Look at you. You are all so adorable. You just unleashed an uncontrollable threat.
Eat shit, Valentina.
We'll need more than just soldiers.
We'll only get out of this together.
Can't call ourselves that. It's a cool name.
Boy, I don't know if they showed us anything in there that wasn't in the last, like that 4-minute trailer we got a week or so ago. A little disappointed with that, to
Let me
be
kill
honest.
that. All right.
Yeah, but it's still going to be kick
I
ass.
thought we got to see Sentry's logo, but we didn't get to see Sentry, and that's what I'm really wanting to see. But it's all right.
Okay. What is the Russian lady's name?
The Scarlet Witch.
No.
I almost said Scarlett Johansson, and I went Elena
Brokovich.
That sounds right. She's
All right.
she's a
I don't like it when she does an American accent.
Oh, really?
Dude, there's nothing about her that doesn't
Call
turn
it
me
a
on.
fetish or what?
Except
But
for
she's
she's
so damn hot with that Russian accent.
I've enjoyed her in this. They gave her good comedy chops. Of course, why is mind going blank?
Big Red.
But David Harbour. David Harbour has added so much comedy chops to that.
Yeah.
And he's so far my favorite part of the movie. But yeah, I don't know. I was hoping I had not seen that trailer yet, so I was hoping for a little bit more than what we saw in that last extended trailer, and it just looked cut together by a college student to me. But that's all right. I'm still excited for the movie. I
can tell that they put some money at it, and they went, all right, this is all we're putting towards it. It sinks or swims on its own. I'm washing my hands. And that's the reason that you're not getting a bigger, edit and stuff like that. And I hope it does good. I hope it does good, and I hope it carries on. But it seems like something that somebody said, okay, we said we were going to greenlight it. We're going to go ahead and greenlight it. But if it has one bad episode, we're pulling the plug.
I feel like this is going to be like the last Deadpool movie where they are showing us nothing out of the third act. Because everybody's over analyzing every Marvel trailer and everything. So I don't think we saw a single thing out of the third act there.
Assholes are out there with podcasts, playing the trailer, and then talking about it afterwards. Oh yeah, that's us. Okay,
that's us.
mind.
Yeah. I will say on a little semi-related note, when we went to dinner after the con, Berto and everybody else talked me into because my wife will not watch horror movies, and they were like, "Have you seen?"
I'm with her.
Huh? Sorry,
I'm
what?
with her. I'm not a big guy for horror movies.
They were like, "Have you seen what is it, Deadly Night or not Silent Night? I think it's Deadly Night that David Harbour was in, where he's playing Santa."
Yes,
it looks like a slasher flick. And I said,
"Good."
My wife will never watch that, and they're like, "Oh no, it's comedy, and it's old Viking that turns into Santa Claus and all this stuff." So I come home, I tell Christy, we watch the trailer after I've given them all the info that people gave me at dinner. She's like, "Oh no, that looks funny. That looks good." So that's on our to watch list this week. We're watching that.
It's good.
So.
That's the thing. Like a dark comedy is good. All right. Yeah. What's the John Cena superhero
Peacemaker,
one that he does? Peacemaker. Yeah. Peacemaker. Yeah. If you took out the comedy from that John Cena brings, that is a dark motherfucking show.
Yeah, 100%. But that's
with his chops, it makes it good.
That's another one of those, though. And I'll give John Cena tons of credit, but of course, oh god, my mind just went blank. The director, I just said his name. James Gunn really made a lot of that happen. And he wrote all that, but that's one of those where the show 100 times better than a comic book. I mean, like night and day difference. The comic,
it's DC. It's not hard.
Yeah,
I never thought much of John Cena's acting skills, from his WWF stuff, or WWE or whatever. But man, evidently those guys are pretty good actors because
Dave Bautista, The Rock.
Yeah, John Cena is one funny dude, man. Have you guys seen Ricky Stenicki?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
I was pushing for John Cena for years back when we did the podcast at the Burrow all the time. Well, that's where we should do the Harry Potter episodes at the Burrow. But I kept pushing that he should be Shazam. I really wanted him to be Shazam.
I think he'd have made a great Shazam.
I do like Zachary Levi as Shazam.
Right.
Did great. But I thought Cena would have been a great Shazam. So
yeah, I've got a whole newfound super respect for Cena.
We should end this now because it's 8:33.
Yeah, and, let's take this down.
Ash has a hotel to get back to, and
I'm actually. This is how bad it is out here in Oklahoma and Arkansas. I cannot eat another frickin' burger. All right, I cannot eat anything like that again. I'm gonna go eat healthy. There's a Popeyes out here. That's how bad it is. Popeyes is freaking healthy food. Okay,
spoken like a true American.
Oh, but I love that chicken and Popeyes.
Dude, I was driving down the road today, and a truck, 2 vehicles ahead of me. Not only, first off, the litter everywhere. Not only did they throw a can out of the window as we're driving down the road, I look as it bounced past me. It's a White Claw.
Oh, that says so much.
We were sitting at lunch. The same thing. People just dumped their trash out in the parking lot and took off. It's like, geez.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Next week, hugs and kisses. Drive safe back, Ash. And,
all right.
We'll see you guys later.
Night.